Varsity Sports Nations welcomes you to Memorial Stadium, home of the 4-1 Bishop Moore Hornets. Tonight, they host the 2-3 Orlando Christian Prep Warriors. Both teams enter tonight's Week 7 matchup following a loss last Friday. Hello, everybody. I'm Jared Oliver alongside my partner Conrad Volch. And Conrad, we had the Bishop Moore game last week. Lopsided matchup with St. Thomas Aquinas. What do the Hornets need to do tonight to get back in the win column?
Well, I think first and foremost, one of the things I noticed that they struggled with a little bit was they lost a lot of contain. And I think in order to have that success against a team that's heavy running, as Orlando Christian Prep is, you have to keep contained, because if you seal off those edges, it keeps it in the inside, and that's where you want the work to happen, is in those trenches, because if it busts outside, then you might not have the safety help or what have you in the defensive backfield. But I think the main thing is you got to keep contained, got to contain the run from Orlando Christian Prep, and I think they should be just fine coming back to, hopefully with a win here.
Yeah, as for Orlando Christian Prep, lopsided matchup going against one of the best teams in the state of Florida. If you haven't noticed, the First Academy, massive overhaul over the offseason, over 30 transfers. Now they're one of the top teams in the state. Orlando Christian Prep didn't fare well in that matchup. This is a team that's coming into tonight 2-3, and they were 10-2 last season. So what do the Warriors need to do to have a chance tonight?
Well, we got the chance to talk to their head coach, and I think for them it's just, play your game, accept the challenge. That was the big thing. They did not care that they were playing the First Academy last week. They took it as a challenge. They said, hey, no matter what the scoreboard says, we're going to play our game. And it was 20-7 going into the fourth quarter. So it wasn't like it was over at halftime by any means. But I think just play your game. Don't let anything outside distractions happen. And if you make a mistake, erase it and then move forward. But do what gets you into positive positions, and they should have a successful night, at least on the run game.
Contrasting styles of play tonight on offense. Orlando Christian Prep is going to ground and pound tonight with the run game. As for Bishop Moore, more of a balanced attack. They're going to run it and use their athletes as well. Should be a great game here. We are just minutes away from kickoff here at Memorial Stadium. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation. And welcome back to Memorial Stadium. Great Friday, Week 7 matchup between Orlando Christian Prep and the Bishop Moore Hornets. We had a chance to talk to both head coaches down on the field. Conrad, what are some of the things that stuck out to you? We'll start with Orlando Christian Prep first.
Well, it's like I told you before we went to break earlier. They're not afraid to step up to a challenge. That game against TFA has been erased. He likes what they saw from how they fought against the team, but ultimately it's done. They showed up Monday, did their prep, and now they're here at Bishop Moore in the land of Orlando, and it's a new challenge. So you can either harp on what TFA did to you last week, or you can move on and try and get yourself back to 500.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks where you come into the week and you just, in a sense, you scratch what happened last week. New chapter, brand new week. Both teams didn't come out of those games the way they wanted to. Lopsided matchups on both ends for Bishop Moore and OCP. But for Bishop Moore, we talked to head coach Matt Hedrick. He feels good about where his team is mentally, the ego, and still playing with a sense of pride.
Yeah, and I think pride is a huge thing because when you have a team, no matter if it's St. Thomas Aquinas or anybody, come in and hang 50 on you, it's tough. I mean, it's not fun when you play in a game where there's a lot of scoring to a little bit of scoring. But they liked what they saw earlier in the game. Obviously, they didn't like the back-to-back turnovers. But before that point, it was very competitive. I mean, you saw St. Thomas scored on their first drive, then Bishop Moore scored on their second drive, and then it looked like it was going to be a shootout for the entirety of the game. But sometimes you need games, whether you're OCP or Bishop Moore, where they expose you or they just have a game like that to kind of reset and go, all right, this is where we're at as a team. We still got about 4 or 5, maybe 6 games left before the playoffs, and where are we? Mm-hmm. And you can either move forward and press on and try to run the table, or move to the end of the season, or you can keep harping on it and it'll just continue to burn you. But I think for Bishop Moore, it was a test against a very good football team, and now take what you learned, apply it here, and just play your best football all around. You've got a quarterback who's a University of Virginia commit. You've got a really good receiving core as well. Just play your game.
I think what was very interesting coming from head coach for the Bishop Moore Hornets, Matt Hedrick, he said that I asked him the challenges of controlling this veer, triple option, wishbone offense. He said that 25 years ago, he actually ran the same offense here at Bishop Moore. He's been here for 32 years. This is his 32nd season. So his team has been prepared to get an idea of what this offense of the Warriors is going to look like.
Yeah, I think it helps, like you said, he's ran that offense before, so he knows what's going to come at him, and he shouldn't be too much surprised by what he's going to look at. And that's honestly, if you're a head coach and you're facing something that you're so used to running, or that is something that was your favorite at one point, it's almost like I don't know if he gets giddy about that, but It's like, hey, I know where this is going, and I know how to stop it, so good luck. And I think, but also too, the double-edged sword is you might get a little bit lenient, and then they might burn you with it. So I think no matter which side of the ball you're on, whether you're the Warriors or the Hornets, it's going to be that first couple drives is going to be trying to figure out, okay, who do we have and what's this other team going to throw at us? And until you kind of settle in and figure out who you are, then it's going to be, okay, who's going to make the least amount of mistakes? And for Bishop Moore, again, make the least amount of mistakes and just play your game and contain their run game, because they have proven they've got a very strong running back who's averaging about 125 a game. I mean, it's yours.
Yeah, for sure. Just a few minutes away from kickoff, still waiting for Bishop Moore to take the field as we're under 30 seconds away from triple zeros to start the first quarter. Captains have not taken the field yet, but it should be a great matchup here between OCP and Bishop Moore. A lot of people have different predictions for this game. You mentioned in recent history between these two, it's been fairly close.
Yes, last year's final in 2023 was 25-15, and 2 seasons ago in 2022 it was 20-14. Bishop Moore prevailed in both of those matches, but that just proves to you how competitive this matchup has been in years past. And no matter in a matchup if it's been lopsided or if it's been competitive, none of that matters until you step on that field. You could have the greatest laid plan in the history of civilization, but if you can't execute it, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So I think we should be in for a competitive matchup tonight based on the history, but it's going to be who sets the tone early and who can establish that dominance early and often to take control of that first half and lead it into the second half.
I think what's something that's interesting to watch tonight is just the body language. Both teams are coming off of lopsided losses. What's your perspective on how the teams will look throughout the game coming off a loss?
Well, it all depends. I mean, I can speak from experience. When I played in college, I used to play at the University of Jamestown, and we lost 61-0 to the number one team in the nation in the Great Plains Athletic Conference. And it was tough because it was 37-0 at the end of the first quarter. And it was, granted, the situation was, okay, it's number one team, it's this, it's that, it's whatever. And then the very next week, we lost again. So being on both sides of winning by a lot and losing by a lot, it's just how you respond. And I think the best way to respond to something like that is you have to erase it, because if you, and I will say this till I'm blue in the face, if you harp on it too much, then it's going to lead into another game and another game and another game, and then you go from we were 4-1 to we're 4-4, or we're 5-3, or what have you. But I think Coach has been here for 32 seasons. He knows what he's doing, and I guarantee this isn't the first time he's lost a football game before to get that caliber, or even won a football game to that caliber, depending on the situation. But I think he's got his guys dialed in, and if what he says is true, with the egos being in check and just being like, "Hey guys, it happened. That sucked. We're moving on." I think they'll be just fine tonight.
Captains meet at midfield for Bishop Moore and Orlando Christian Prep, getting set for kickoff here at Memorial Stadium. Should be a good one for a Week 7 Friday night action here in Orlando, Florida. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. The Bishop Moore Hornets take the field for a Week 7 matchup against Orlando Christian Prep. Both teams coming off of lopsided losses, and this is a get-back game for both locker rooms. Should be a great matchup here at Memorial Stadium. Happy to be on the call. Jared Oliver along with Conrad Volch. OCP will receive the opening kickoff. And Conrad, we talked about both teams in the pregame. This is a sort of a get-right game following the lopsided losses for both teams last week against top 10 teams in the state of Florida. What are you looking forward to the most from Bishop Moore to try to bounce back against a team that's maybe not as strong defensively?
Well, I like to see Jurgensen get back into his mojo with passing. He's about 252 yards per game. Was at 275, about 275, 276 last week before that game. I mean, you see it there on the full screen graphic, 9 touchdowns, almost 1,300 yards passing already, and a QBR. I mean, NFL quarterbacks would love to have a QBR like that, average. So I would like to see him kind of get his mojo back and to just have that confidence in the pocket. It was a dangerous pocket last week, and I think in order for them to be successful and get down to business, it starts with Jurgensen.
All right, both teams getting set to take the field here at Memorial Stadium. Orlando Christian Prep will receive the opening kickoff. Good crowd here at Memorial Stadium. Bishop Moore 4-1 OCP 2-3. Nicholas Salas out there to kick it away for Bishop Moore. And back to return for OCP is Avery Johnson and Thomas Young. Pigskin is in the air. We are underway. This is halted from their own 25-yard line. Thomas is going to be wrapped up inside their own 25-yard line, and this is where we'll see the OCP offense come on the field for the first time, and they are led by their really talented running back, Akeevan Anderson, averaging 122 yards per game, 5'11", 175, and the junior 367 yards entering tonight's game, Conrad.
Yeah, and that's going to be who they run through. It's going to be him, and it's going to be big number 72, Demetrius Campbell. Coach spoke very highly of him. They're either going to, for the Bishop Moore side, they're going to run it to his side, whether it's a pancake block or if it's just a pure power run. Watch for those two, because if they can get going early and often, it's going to be a long night.
1st and 10 for OCP from their own 26. Thomas goes in motion. They hand it off up the middle. Gain of about 1 on the play. Tackle made by Lance Johnson. And Avery Johnson leads this team in carries. 3rd leading rusher on the team, averaging 4.5 yards per carry.
Yeah, and 4.5 is a very, very good average, because you only need about 3.3, 3.4 yards a carry to get you that first down in 3 carries. So doing that, it almost makes it that 3rd and short every single time.
Expect OCP to try to shrink this game and use the run game to bleed clock and keep the score manageable. 2nd down and 7 for OCP. Handoff up the middle. 2nd handoff of the night for Johnson, Avery Johnson. And that'll make it 3rd and long for the Warriors here.
I like what Bishop Moore's doing. They're attacking that middle of the field in that war zone of the trenches, and it's about a 3rd and medium. It's about a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 area of the field. That's where you want them, because if you can keep that yard average down to about maybe 2.5 to 2 yards per carry, it gives you a chance and forces them to have to punt it.
Bishop Moore head coach Matt Hedrick said that his defense needs to have eye discipline tonight against this triple option offense. 3rd down and 5 for OCP. And whistle blows the play dead. Penalty comes out. Looks like it'll be an offsides against Bishop Moore.
And that's another thing, if you're going to make your mistakes, do it in the first quarter, kind of get it out of your system. But that's a free 5 yards. And for OCP, they'll take that every time, because, number one, it's a new set of downs. And you think they might have gotten some of the rust off in those first couple runs and kind of established their front 6. But yeah, that's something Bishop Moore is going to have to cut back on.
Bishop Moore's defense is going to want to get off the field against this offense to not give them extended drives because of penalties. Fresh set of downs, 1st and 10, handoff up the middle, and barely gets back to the line of scrimmage there. Dino Bruscato on the tackle for Bishop Moore.
I love the response by the Hornets. You just gave up 5 yards. How are you going to respond to it? And you limit it to 1 yard. Now that makes it 2nd and 9, and OCP is going to have a big decision. Do they run that run first offense straight up the middle, or are they going to try and pass it here? A lot of big decision coming up.
2nd down and 9 for OCP at their own 39. It's going to be a lot of action between the hash marks tonight, Conrad.
Absolutely.
Nick Flores, the quarterback, number 8. And it's a reverse. And there's some action on the left side. Has a lane, crosses midfield, gets inside the 45-yard line. That's Zeke Gunn, the junior.
Yeah, he came into this game with only 6 yards on the ground. And that's what you got to do against this Bishop Moore team. They've shown you what they can do in between the hash marks in that messy trench. How are you going to do it? And that's what they do. They fake the handoff one way, then they flip it to the other guy, and it wasn't like they lost contain. They had guys there. It's just about finding the open hole and just gashing them.
Fresh set of downs for the Warriors. 1st down and 10 from the 44. Thomas comes in motions. They counter it off the right side. That's Akeevan Anderson. We talked about him averaging 122 per game. He's the team's leading rusher, and, man, what an athlete he is for this Warriors offense, Conrad.
100%. One I've been noticing about this Orlando Christian Prep roster, number 5, Thomas Young, listed as a cornerback and wide receiver. Every time a play starts, he'll, step up like he's about to push off, and then he, jousts some other direction. And I don't know if it's calculated that way, but he's been doing that every play.
2nd down and 5 for OCP. Flores hands it off to Thomas off the left side, gets to the second level, breaking tackles, gets inside the 20-yard line. First down for the Warriors.
Yeah, as I'm talking about that, he steps up and kind of goes that direction. This time he gets the football, and he's their second leading rusher on the team. Not surprised they handed it to him, but OCP has found something, and they're using it to their advantage.
Thomas Young, the Lake Nona transfer, Air Force commit, plays both ways, and he's a stellar athlete for the Warriors. Approaching the 8-minute mark here in the first quarter. First down and 10 at the 20. Handoff off the right side for Akeevan Anderson. Plows forward, gets near the 15-yard line.
And that was a lot better on contain there for Bishop Moore. I mean, now it's your red zone offense has to be established here. Doesn't matter what you did between the 20s. Now it's, okay, they've got 20 yards to get 6. Can we force them to get 3? And that was a good start to that set of downs.
And this is exactly what OCP wants to do right here. You want to bleed clock, get in the red zone, and this is where this offense is hard to stop inside the 20. 2nd down and 5 for OCP from the 15-yard line. Anderson comes in motion. They hand it off up the middle to Avery Anderson. Gets a tackle broken and falls forward in the end zone. They scored on their opening drive last week. Same result here. Touchdown, Warriors.
And I think the theme for this drive on why it was successful, and it was so early in the drive, was that offsides. I think that offsides gave OCP new life, and whatever mistakes that they made in those first 2 plays, they have since eliminated them on this drive.
Second touchdown of the season for Avery Anderson. They line up to go for 2. Ball is on the ground. They jump on it. So the 2-point conversion is no good. And what do we have here? OCP up 6-0 here with 7:26 left to go here in the first quarter. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation.
7:26 left.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. It is 6-0. OCP goes down the field on their opening drive to score a touchdown. Avery Anderson finished off the drive. Second touchdown for Avery Anderson of the season. They're set to kick it away. Devin St. Clair. Looks like Malachi Smith back there for the return for Bishop Moore.
Nicholas Mond on the kick.
So let's see how Bishop Moore responds. Short kick, bounces near the 15, and Devin St. Clair struggled to get it, but bounces off the far sideline, looking for an angle, still on his feet, plowing through, and going to be taken down inside the 30-yard line, and that is where Bishop Moore's offense comes out on the field, and their offense is led by their 3-star quarterback, Bjorn Jurgensen, the 3-star Virginia commit. And this guy is just Mr. Efficient. Over 1,200 yards passing already on the season, averaging 252 per game, Conrad.
Yeah, and it's like I said, that QBR at 125.8, NFL quarterbacks would love to have that average 5 games into a season. He's got to get going and kind of corral his team on this first drive.
9 passing touchdowns on the season already. Here they come out in the shotgun. Jurgensen hands it off to his running back up the middle, and that'll be good for a first down as they get to their own 40-yard line. That's Amari Johnson, first season with Bishop Moore, transfer from Willing Park High School out of West Virginia.
And that's what you want if you're Bishop Moore. You look at OCP, it's like, all right, you got it going slowly. Watch this.
Bishop Moore using some tempo. Second handoff of the night for Amari Johnson. Crosses midfield. Another first down for Bishop Moore. And this is exactly what they want to do, establish the run game, Conrad.
Yeah, they're establishing dominance. It's 2 plays, 2 first downs. They are running what looks like a hurry-up offense here. And for OCP, by the time they get back up on their feet, Bishop Moore's ready to another run a play.
First down from the 48. Another handoff for Johnson. Gets to the second level, and that'll be a gain of 7 on the play.
Yeah, Johnson's taken everything that they're giving him. I mean, 406 yards on the season, 4 rushing touchdowns. I mean, this guy, 3 straight handoffs, and he's nearly gotten 3 first downs off 3 handoffs. So forget the passing game. Their running game is already shredding it.
Only ran for 60 yards last week versus St. Thomas Aquinas. Second down and 3 for Bishop Moore. And they give it on the jet sweep. It'll be Magnus Talma, and he gets hit hard, close to the first down, and brings up 3rd and short.
And that was a grown man move there by Thomas Young. Did a lot of the workload on that offensive drive for the Warriors and said, hey, you want this first down? It's going to go through me, and I'm going to reject you right now. Try again later.
3rd down and 1 for Bishop Moore from the 40. And a whole lot of movement up front for the Warriors, and that should be a first down for Bishop Moore.
And we'll see how this plays out for the rest of the drive for Bishop Moore, but excuse me, that was the turning point for OCP last drive. They baited Bishop Moore to get an offsides penalty, took it the rest of the way, and now what are you going to do with it?
First water break of the night. Bishop Moore driving as they're down 6-0 here at Memorial Stadium. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation. .529 left in the first quarter. Bishop Moore driving down the field. First down and 10 for the Hornets on the 35-yard line. Good start on the drive for the running game so far with Amari Johnson. And they go right back to him up the middle. Once again, breaking tackles, gets to the second level and close to another first down, a gain of 9.
I mean, you said he had less than 70 yards last week against St. Thomas Aquinas. He might get 95% of it on this drive by the way he's been pounding the rock.
He's had 2 games of 100 yards or more this season. Looking good so far tonight.
But big credit to that old line opening up those holes for him.
Johnson comes off the field limping there, so they'll bring in Devin St. Clair, who does spend a little time in the running backfield. Quick throw for Jurgensen, and he goes to his number 1 target, Kenyon Alston, and what a huge impact he is on the perimeter. Kenyon Alston, the 3-star, has about 19 offers, leads the team in receiving yards and averaging about 104 a game, Conrad.
I mean, he's got 8 receiving touchdowns already. All the rest of the receivers have 1 in number 8 of Anderson, and that you can see why that's their go-to, because he can get open.
Absolutely. All right, play fake, and there's a receiver over the middle. Magnus Talma. 4-yard gain on the play.
Another effective receiver there. I mean, doesn't get a lot of throws, but he averages just over 11 and a half yards a catch. So I like how they diversify throwing it around on the field.
Shotgun formation, 3 receivers set for Bishop Moore. St. Clair still in the backfield at running back. And they hand it off. No, check that. Play fake. And Jurgensen Gets inside the 5-yard line. He's a sneaky runner. 5 rushing touchdowns on the year for Jurgensen.
Yeah, Jurgensen, that was him saying, hey, my running back can do it, but he can take a break real quick and get some Gatorade real fast. I got this. Let's get us to 1st and goal, and we're going to continue to just run it at you. Watch this.
1st and goal for Bishop Moore. Jurgensen under center. Handed off to St. Clair. Has room on the left side. He crosses the goal line. Touchdown, Bishop Moore on the board. Second touchdown of the year for Devin St. Clair. And they've got a chance to take the lead either with a field goal or a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, just an overall great response by Bishop Moore. Had a team that was very slow and methodical down the field. Took about 4.5 minutes on the clock. And respond, touchdown.
Nicholas Sal is on for the PAT. It is up and good, and Bishop Moore at home takes the lead 7-6 with 3:18 left to play in the first quarter. Back and forth we go here early on here at Memorial Stadium. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. 7-6 ball game. Bishop Moore goes down the field on their opening drive. And so far, a good game. What did you like so far in this game, Conrad?
Oh, I love how each team is attacking the run game. You know, I talked about in the pregame with Jurgensen taking over, but so far it's been the run game for Bishop Moore and for OCP.
So here's a mistake here from the kicking game from Bishop Moore. Kick goes out of bounds. So that sets up OCP with great field position to start their second drive. And this OCP offense has looked good so far. They go down the field on their opening drive, really establish the run. What are some of the things that stuck out to you in that first drive?
Well, I like how they utilized kind of what they did with their fakes, because they did so many plays in a row that went straight up the middle that then they flipped it around and then they went the other way. And when they did their fakes, they were so effective because Bishop Moore was planning it to be the middle or the opposite side, and then there wasn't enough help on the other side. So I think for OCP, you're going to have to play the long game. Your success is keeping that Bishop Moore offense off the field and making that defense tired, because if you can do what you did on that first drive for most of the game, you're going to give yourself a chance. Now, that 2-point conversion that they missed might haunt them later.
Yeah.
But if they can continue to have those long scoring drives, taking time off the clock, it could be an interesting game today.
Yeah, for sure. OCP did exactly what they wanted to do in that opening drive. We'll see if they can continue to establish the run game here against Bishop Moore. And we talked about it in the pregame. Head coach Mac Hedrick for Bishop Moore said that they want to really key on eye discipline and staying focused on what OC does offensively.
Well, yeah, and if you watch kind of the belt area of the pants, it really doesn't move. And, you know, the hip movement can go, oh, I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to go that way.
Yeah.
But if you watch the belt, it stays neutral.
Yeah.
And if you just watch it, it's like, okay, it's going this way. But eye placement's very crucial, because if you look at where you think the ball's going to go, it might go the other way. So just stay disciplined, keep contained, keep it in the middle, and that's where you're going to have success. 2
touchdowns to start the game. Let's see what OCP has here for their second drive of the football game. 3:18 left to go in the first quarter. Handoff off the right side. That's a Kevin Anderson. Breaks free. Has room in front. And he's going to be taken down at the 45-yard line. Great run for the Warriors. Tackle made by Devin St. Clair.
And, I mean, I don't know what's going on so far, but OCP, they have found something when they kind of curl it towards the right side and go, like, not up the middle, but more towards, I want to say, right middle. They're finding the open lanes, kind of like a drag strip when you're racing cars. And whatever they're finding when they do that little sweep down the side has been working for them so far.
Kevin Anderson is a stellar running back, has a season-high 184 rushing yards, versus Holy Trinity. First down and 10 for OCP from the 45. Handoff up the middle. Thomas Young, check that. Avery Anderson on the carry, and a gain of nothing there. Brings up second down.
And that's what you want to do if you're Bishop Moore. Take the outsides away and eliminate them as an option for this Warrior team, because we've seen it. We saw it on the opening drive. We're seeing it now. If they can keep it in the middle where all the defensive linemen are, they have not been able to get, I think their most they've got was about 3.5 yards. So if they can limit it to the middle, that's the game.
Second down and 9 for OCP from the 47. Check that, from the 43. And they give it to Thomas Young, and he's wrapped up near the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Brings up third and long for OCP.
Yeah, heads-up play there by number 6, Riley Badreu, senior free safety. I mean, he read that perfectly. He didn't let Thomas Young juke him out or anything. Played the game, and look at this. Now you've got OCP in a third and long situation.
Exactly
third
where
and
you
nine,
want him. Yeah.
Third and 9. Now OCP is forced to go to the outsides because they haven't had success in the middle. Now, if you can force them in the middle, you may be able to force a punt here.
Let's see what Orlando Christian Prep does here on third and long. Third and 9 for the Warriors. And they go play fake. First pass of the night. Pressure in the quarterback's face, and he's going to be wrapped up near the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up fourth down for Bishop Moore. Tackle made by Lance Johnson. 6 foot 235, leads the team in tackles. Big play there for the Hornets.
And again, this is what you want to do if you're going to be successful. Force the Warriors to do something they're not comfortable with. Coming into this game, they do not have a passer over 100 yards. They've had 2 quarterbacks touch the field for them this season. The quarterback was falling back, had to find a man open in a desperation play, lost a yard on the pass, and you can tell they're a run-first team. Great way to get out of the drive there.
Avery Johnson set to kick it away for Orlando Christian Prep. Devin St. Clair and Trenton Gummer back to receive. Fair catch call by St. Clair. And that is where Bishop Moore will take over for their second drive of the game. So the defense for Bishop Moore gets a great stop. And here they come. Offense once again led by Bjorn Jurgensen. What are you looking here? What are you looking forward to see here from Bishop Moore offensively, Conrad?
Oh, I think do the same thing as you did on the first drive, because you know, as long as you have your star running back in Johnson. Of course, we did see him go to the sideline that last drive, so hopefully he's okay.
Back out there, yeah.
So he is back out there. That's good to see. I'd say if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Just run the same play until they stop it, but until they stop it, just keep running it.
Under center, number 21
First down and 10 for Bishop Moore
in the backfield.
from their own 15-yard line. Hornets still trying to get their personnel right.
That's Pierce Holton coming in late for the O-line.
6'4", 250, and they hand it off to Johnson.
On that carry, pushed up.
Gain of 6 on the play for the Hornets, so they're switching it up now, really leaning on the run game. Well, similar to what they did early in the game as well.
On that tackle.
And that was a good, hard run there. And even when it looked like he was going to get tackled for maybe no gain or a 1-yard gain, he cut it back towards the middle. Hard run, and brings up second and medium.
So after one, it's a 7-6 ball game. Bishop Moore up 7-6. Quarter number 2 will start in just a few. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation. Jared Oliver and Conrad Voss from the call for Bishop Moore and Orlando Christian Prep. 7-6 ball game. Bishop Moore trying to add more points to the scoreboard. 2nd down and 5 for the Hornets. Another handoff for Amari Johnson and stopped after a gain of about 1 on the play. Brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, that was a great tackle there. I believe that was number 2 of Zeke Gunn. It was. That's what you're going to have to do for OCP. You know, Bishop Moore has been very consistent on their running. You're going to have to take that away from them and force them to run a different play.
Bishop Moore in the shotgun on 3rd down and 3. Looks like man-to-man coverage on the outside. Warriors bring pressure, and Amari Johnson hit hard in the backfield. Brings up 4th down for the Hornets. Tackle made by Braden Schuster, the junior, leads the team in tackles.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, that's what OCP needs to do against this Bishop Moore team. They ran it pretty much straight up the middle almost every running play last drive and got 2 first downs in their first 2 rush attempts. For OCP, they completely eliminated that. I think the break between 1st and 2nd quarter helped them out to kind of give them that free timeout and a breather. And now for Bishop Moore, how are you going to adjust to it?
Backup quarterback Smith Lassard on the punt. Takes a rolling bounce towards the near sideline, and that is where Bishop Moore will take over for another offensive drive.
Yeah, way to
So
go.
as they get set for offense, we'll take a quick break as well.
Looks about the 36.
Back at Memorial Stadium, Orlando Christian Prep on offense. They'll take over 1st down and 10 from their own 36. Counter handoff on the right side, gets to the 2nd level, and that run is by Zeke Gunn, the junior.
Good, healthy start to this drive. You know, get way over half of the yards you need of the 10 yards. Bring up about a 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4 situation. You know, you come in averaging about that 4.5. We'll try and get, you know, maybe 5 or 6 because that makes it, if you get into a 3rd and short situation, a little bit more manageable. And comparatively how the last drive ended, that's a good way to start this one.
One thing we haven't talked about yet is Orlando Christian Prep is going to have to win by committee. A lot of their skill guys play both sides of the ball. 2nd down and 3 for OCP. Handoff to Thomas Young, and he's got the 1st down as he crosses midfield. Nice play there from the Warriors.
When you bring up a great point, last play, you know, Orlando Christian Prep comes in here between about 33 and 37 players, and on the other side for Bishop Moore, they're looking at about 54, 57. So that's already another almost 22 guys, which is 2 sides of the ball disadvantage. So great point. Like I said, keep the football away from the Bishop Moore offense and continue to bleed that clock, and it gives yourself a chance.
This Orlando Christian Prep team is fairly young, only 6 returning starters on offense. Fresh set of downs for OCP near midfield. They hand it off to Dunn. Gain of 3 on the play.
And they're keeping it, Bishop Moore's keeping it in the middle where the mess is in between there of the O&D line. But I'm telling you, OCP found something, and it started with that offsides penalty on that first drive. I'm going to continue to circle back to that for most of this game. It started with that. And they'll find flashes where they contain it in the middle, but OCP, they don't care. They're going to run it straight at you, and you have to try and stop it.
OCP keeping the game in check. They're ahead of the sticks. They don't want to get behind on the scoreboard. So far, everything working for OCP. Another handoff to Thomas Young, this time wrapped up in the backfield. Flag is down on the field, but great pursuit from that Bishop Moore defense.
That might be a hold on OCP. There was a Hornet that was down in the backfield, but we shall see for the official call. I think if you're Bishop Moore, as much as you want to take that 10-yard penalty, I would just say decline it because they technically lost about 2 to 3 yards. It's back to the original line of scrimmage.
So it is a holding on Orlando Christian Prep. That'll back them up 10. Oh, it was a block in the back. Check that. Block in the back against Orlando Christian Prep. Bishop Moore does accept the penalty.
And I do like the accepting of the penalty as well, because the way that OCP's been running the ball, especially the last couple of drives, you kind of want to have more of that cushion. So in case if they do rip a 10 to 12 yard run, it still puts you about 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7.
So this is what the Warriors do not want on offense. 2nd and miles.
And I would expect them to maybe do like a fake run up the middle and then do like that little flippity flop where it flips to the other side.
I love the flippity flop analogy. So how about this? OCP in the shotgun here. They've got their pocket passer, Cameron Curzon, in there, but play is blown dead. Looks like false start against OCP.
And if you're Bishop Moore, this is candy to you, because after OCP has gashed you a couple of times today, now it's like, okay, yeah, you could rip a 10 to 12 like I just said, but you still have to get to our 40-yard line before a fresh set of downs. So
absolutely,
good luck.
So Orlando Christian Prep, a team that doesn't typically throw the ball way beyond the sticks. It's about 2nd down and 20.
Yeah, and Orlando Christian Prep has one pass attempt for about -1 yard. And on the other side for the Hornets, I mean, they've only thrown about 3 to 4 passes as well, but they were calculated, very methodical, and they had a purpose for where they were going. But for both of these teams, the attack mode has been run first, pass second.
So Orlando Christian Prep is going to take a timeout to talk things over to try to figure out how to keep this drive alive, and we'll take a timeout as well. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. OCP with the ball, but they're facing 2nd down and about 23 here. Conrad, what does the offense need to do here, a team that typically doesn't throw the ball?
Well, I think it kind of forces you into that throwing situation, because I don't know too many coaches that have a run play designed for a 2nd and 20 to get you to more 3rd and manageable. But for OCP, they have proven to be able to run the ball long distance should the opportunity present itself. But as we've seen, one pass for -1 yard so far in this first half. We'll see. I really couldn't tell you.
The backup quarterback, who's a senior, Cameron Curzon, is in there, 6'1", 190. He is their pocket passer. And he drops back, looking to throw, has plenty of time, has a man who has a step, and incomplete.
That ball is incomplete.
Just a little too far outstretched for his target. That's Nicholas Flores, who also plays quarterback.
And like I said, not a lot of coaches have a 2nd and 20 run play, but that was a perfectly dialed up play for that situation. It just, if you're OCP, it just stinks, because it was a teardrop pass right past the defender, just dropped it.
Bishop Moore's defense has OCP exactly where they want them. 3rd down and about 23. They need to get to the 40-yard line for a first down. Cameron Curzon still at quarterback. Looking to throw. Doesn't like what he sees. Pulls it down. Avoids the pressure, but not going to get away from the second guy. That's Lance Johnson for the sack. 4th sack of the season for big number 0.
Johnson.
And if you're Bishop Moore, you love that. You've already put OCP in a situation that's uncomfortable. You force them even farther back, and could turn into a field position game as well as we get in the later stages of this second quarter. But for Bishop Moore, great response. making OCP uncomfortable. And unfortunately, now we've got a player down.
Yeah, it looks like a Orlando Christian Prep Warrior down on the field as the trainers from both sides attend to him. We'll take a break as they look at him near the 30-yard line. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. 7:45 left to go in the first half, and there is an Orlando Christian Prep player down on the field. Immediately the carts have come out, and trainers from both teams are out there trying to assess the situation. And as you can see, a lot of concern here as to what's going down on the field. We did see a stretcher come out on the field. We don't know what the injury is or who the player was, but this is the unfortunate part of the game, Conrad.
Yeah, and that's kind of the risk you take, unfortunately, when you play the game of football is stuff like this will happen, and we hope that the player on the ground is okay. We couldn't, like you said, Jared, we couldn't quite see who hit the turf on that play, but yeah, we hope that it's not as serious as it may look from up here. We can't really speculate because that's not correct either to do, but yeah, we really don't know because the cart came out first and then the stretcher came out, so we don't know if it's maybe something in the back or a knee or a knockout or whatever. But I mean, I feel like ever since the DeMar Hamlin situation happened last season, I feel like player safety before that was very serious, but especially when that happened, it's more of a, okay, whenever we see a cart or an ambulance on the field, that's when alarm bells start going off, like, okay, what really happened? But they're taking their time. They're very methodical with what they're doing with the medical staff right now. We hope that the player is okay, and but I mean, there's a lot of silence in the stadium right now. You could almost hear a pin drop outside, and we hope that that OCP sideline is okay, because it's already tough coming in with about 18 to 20 players less than your opponent, and losing another guy, especially someone in their run game, is not something you want to see, especially in this first half. And as we were going to break, we immediately saw the cart come out. We saw the stretcher follow that. So obviously both trainers from both teams sort of assessed that the situation or whatever the injury may be to the Orlando Christian Prep player, it was serious enough to kind of have a all hands on deck type of situation here. Yeah, and I mean, like I said earlier, when I played college football, I was very fortunate to not have any major injuries. I sprained my finger in practice one time, and I rolled my ankle in practice one time as well. I never had a game day injury per se, but for some of those things, it's just wrong place, wrong time when it comes to a hit or a tackle or whatever. I mean, another situation right now, now that the Seattle Storm are done with the WNBA, Nika Mule, one of their draft picks from UConn, was playing 3-on-3 basketball overseas, kind of took a weird fall. And to me, at least from my vantage point on the video, it didn't look like a serious injury, but she ended up grabbing her leg, and it ended up being an ACL tear. So sometimes the things that look the worst end up not being as bad, and then things that look like a routine fall or a routine nick end up being way worse than we thought possible. So again, I'm impressed with the fact medical staff taking their time to get through this, assessing it, not going too fast to make it worse.
Right.
But that's just the thing, it's not something that you plan for something to happen, whether it's an ankle roll or you get the air knocked out of you. But no matter how many times you prepare yourself, hey, this could happen.
Yeah.
It still is like a stunner and a surprise and oh my gosh, this happened.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine what's going through the minds of all these players on both sides of the ball, coaches, referees. Referees are in a conference on the far side of the field right now. We hope the best to both of these teams, but I can't even imagine what's going through the heads of these guys.
It's obvious that injuries can happen no matter what level it is, high school, college, or the pros. But, I think it's even more unfortunate when it's a Friday night when people are out just to see the community team play football, and obviously the parents. You have to be concerned about what they're going through or what they imagine because, these are amateurs. They're not professionals. But, again, injuries can happen at any level, but it's unfortunate to see this kind of injury and how long it's taking to see what's going on a Friday night.
Yeah, and when it comes to them taking their time, I think, that can go one of two ways. The hard thing to think about is, oh my gosh, why are they taking so long? But on the positive side, like I said, it's taking a while, but I'd rather them take a while and do it right than rush through it and more problems are caused.
Thoughts and prayers are down on the field. We'll take a break. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. Unfortunate scene here. The medical officials have been entered into the stadium, and we do have an identification on the player that has been down on the field for seems like over 20 minutes now. It's the backup quarterback, Cameron Curzon. Senior quarterback, plays lacrosse, and tough scene here, no matter what level it is. Took a hit on a third down, and we immediately saw that he didn't move following the hit. As you can see, the stretcher is out to try and get it under him to stabilize the body. And yeah, this is an unfortunate situation, Conrad. You never want to see this, no matter what level it is.
No, and like I said, it just seemed like a simple, tackle. Defender Lance Johnson wrapped up and did what you're supposed to do when you play football, and I can't even. It's so difficult to see what Curzon's going through right now, but I can't even imagine what Lance Johnson's thinking right now. He simply made a third down stop like he's supposed to for his team, and now you go through like, man, what if I tackled him this way, or what if I did this, or whatever. And when we were at break, I stood outside in the stands just to kind of watch and get a breath of fresh air. And I mean, it's I've been in stadiums that were quiet because there were no people, but the entire home side for Bishop Moore is full. Yeah, and we can't hear anyone, even whispers. So it's definitely a serious thing. It's not something you want to see, as you said, Jared, at any level. Yeah. And especially when an ambulance is called in. Again, we hope it's not as serious as it looks, but this is definitely something that it went from a smash-mouth football game between two very good running offenses to now this is bigger than football now.
You see the Orlando Fire Department out there, along with as well as the Orlando paramedics as well, and they're still trying to get Curzon on that board. And we were told that the ambulance won't fit inside the stadium, so they're going to have to carry him out and roll him out outside of the stadium because the ambulance won't fit inside the entrance gate. And so, as you can see, Cameron Curzon's teammates ready to greet him and wish him the best in his recovery. You see the quarterback, Nick Flores, there, along with his teammates as well. Thomas Young also. So, tough scene here on a Friday night. You never want to see this. And, of course, we hope for the best. Hopefully we get some good news in the next coming days as what's going on. And it's been about, feels like 25 minutes that he's been down there on the field. And both teams, both trainers from both sides, from Orlando Christian Prep and Bishop Moore, have been out there to help him out. And it looks like they're strapping him on that board. And it's like they're ready to try and get him on that stretcher. And as you can see, his teammates ready to greet him. Tough situation, no matter what level of play it is. It is a physical, violent sport. It is a game that we all love, but this is the worst part of it, for sure. And his teammates all get around him as they say a prayer and have a moment.
We saw the Bishop Moore football team and their cheerleading team come together, circle up, and pray over the situation.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 9.
Well, that's a good sign there. Thumbs up from Cameron Curzon, senior quarterback, multi-sport athlete, plays lacrosse, and
you see Lance Johnson walking with him.
Yeah, the one who made the hit.
So hopefully he can deal with that and move on from that as well.
So Cameron Curzon has been taken off the field, and both teams will try to get back in the state of mind to try to play a football game here. We'll take another break. Jared Oliver, Conrad Volch here at Memorial Stadium following a really tough scene to see. Cameron Curzon was taken off the field on a stretcher. and the paramedics strapped him on to a board to stabilize his spine. We don't know what the injury was, but tough scene for sure. And now both teams are warming up, and we're almost set to start kickoff again, but it's got to be tough to get back in game mode.
Oh, I can't even imagine. I remember my sophomore year in junior college. We had a guy that played kind of that linebacker, defensive back role, and he basically got his leg broken in half.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that didn't take as long, but locking back in is going to be the hardest part here.
So it is a 4th down for OCP, and it'll be a short punt near midfield. Flag does come out on the play, and it could be a running into the kicker penalty on Bishop Moore. This
is going to be a interesting way they call this. If they call roughing, it's 15 yards and a first. But if they just call running, it's 5. So I think they're just going to call a simple running into the kicker from what I saw.
Yeah, looks like it'll still be. Well, let's see what the call is.
I think they're going to make him re-kick it.
Okay, so it's still 4th down. So, yeah, looks like they're going to re-kick it, and Bishop Moore will have a second opportunity to return this. Devin St. Clair, the deep man for the Hornets.
That's the thing. If you're Bishop Moore on that punt return team, stay off the kicker no matter how close you get. Unless you have a clear shot at blocking it, stay off the kicker.
So it's 4th down and 25 for OCP. Avery Anderson, the punter for the Hornets. Devin St. Clair and Trenton Gummer, the 2 deep men for Bishop Moore. They're lined up at the 35. And a line drive, and that is a terrible punt. But it does take a favorable bounce. And so they will down that ball inside the 40-yard line. So that's where Bishop Moore will come back on offense. So, we had this long break because of the injury. It was about 25, 30 minutes. And it's tough to get going here if you're both football teams to try to get that energy, get that tempo going. How do you adjust, and what does Bishop Moore need to do here to try to get the rhythm going here offensively following that tough injury?
Well, and that's another thing. As hard as it is to say, you have to erase what just happened out of your mind. It was a very tough situation, very emotional for both sides, but as of right now, we're still playing a football game. Yeah. And I know it's easier said than done, but you just got to limit the mistakes and play your game. I'm not sure what the penalty marker was. It was about, I want to say, 7-8 seconds after the play ended.
Very late flag.
But if you're OCP, and I'm being told it is a personal foul, if you're OCP, you benefited from the last penalty because the punt went about 10 to 12 yards farther than the first attempt, which instead of it being placed on the 50 and the opposite 38-40, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're going to call a personal foul on Bishop Moore, and then they're going to call a unsportsmanlike on OCP. So offsetting penalties.
I don't think they're going to re-kick it because the flag was after the play, so they'll move it forward. So Bishop Moore will take over 1st down and 10 at the 47.
So it's almost like how that first punt ended, except it's 3 yards different.
Bjorn Jurgensen throws quickly to Talma across the middle and has a man breaking tackles. 1st down for the Hornets.
And for the Hornets, they had early success with the run play. It got snuffed out by OCP on that last drive. Now, open up the pass because the run's been doing it for you. Now OCP is going to have to be disciplined and cover the pass now.
4 receivers set. Amari Johnson, the running back, in the backfield. They give it to Johnson, tries to cut it off the right side. He's going to be met by a gang of white jerseys, gain of 2 on the play.
And that's one thing that OCP has gotten very disciplined on throughout this first about quarter and a half is Bishop Moore came out, they ran it up the middle, got a lot of gashing yards off of it, but ever since that last drive, they've found a way to contain the run. How is Bishop Moore going to adjust to that?
2nd down and 7 for Bishop Moore. Bjorn Jurgensen looking to throw, has all day to throw, takes a shot down the field for Austin. He's got it! Touchdown, Bishop Moore! Wow, what a catch!
Number 3, that is Kenyon Austin.
Kenyon Austin, the 3-star. takes advantage in man coverage, and boy, did he deliver.
What an absolute teardrop pass by Jurgensen. I mean, took his time, gave what the offensive line gave him, and you know that DBs can't cover, but unfortunately it looks like it's coming back.
Oh, tough penalty. Illegal receiver downfield, and that will wipe away that touchdown. Flag came in, or we didn't see the flag on the play. Did you see the flag?
I did not. I was looking in the end zone.
Tough call for Bishop Moore there, and that wipes the touchdown off the board.
So what probably happened is the offensive line, if they stay in pass block, that is legal. But if you have any of those offensive linemen move up the field too far, then it turns into you have to run it, or it's going to be a legal man downfield, and that's what we think happened with the Hornets there.
So now 2nd down and 13 for Bishop Moore. Bjorn Jurgensen with pressure, takes another shot down the field, has a man, so the flag doesn't matter, and that's 6 for Bishop Moore. Matt Sullivan. 7th catch of the season, and it ends with 6 points on the board for the Hornets.
Hey, there was only 2 guys all season that had receiving touchdowns. You had Alston with 8 and Anderson, number 8, with 1. And Sullivan's like, hey, can I join the party?
Yeah.
I got some popcorn. Throw it to me. And he just scored it.
What a strike from Bishop Moore. Nicholas Salas on for the PAT. It is good. And your Hornets take a 14-6 lead here in the first half with 5:41 left to play. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation. Jared Oliver, Conrad Volch back at Memorial Stadium. Big-time strike from Bishop Moore. The penalty wiped the touchdown off the board, but very next play they go right down the field, and Bjorn Jurgensen takes a shot. 7 points on the board for Bishop Moore. What did you like from that drive from the Hornets?
Oh, I love the changeup because, you know, the Warriors were already planning on Alston getting the ball. Why not throw it to somebody else that they're not used to? And the guy was wide open. Love the play call. I love changing it up there.
Thomas Young going to be wrapped up near the 10-yard line for Orlando Christian Prep, and that is where they'll take over on offense. And this is dangerous territory for Orlando Christian Prep. They're now down on the board, not two-possession game, but down 14-6 here, and they want to keep this game close because, as we know, this team doesn't throw the ball well, and they want to keep it close and manageable. But now you got to sort of open up the offense a little bit, don't you think?
Well, and I think, you know, you talk about open up the offense, but you cannot go into desperation mode. You've controlled
early.
Exactly. You've controlled the line of scrimmage for most of this football game. Just continue doing what you're doing because you're able to successfully move the ball up the field, especially when they react after only a 1 to 2 yard game.
Yeah.
They've got something where they split down the right side, the left side. It does not matter. So I think it's only 14-6. It's still an 8-point game, which is a 1-score game. But if you are OCP, do not panic. Continue playing your game. You've got 5 minutes and 34 seconds to work with for the rest of this half. That's a drive.
Yeah.
If you do it correctly, you could run it all the way down the field, run the clock down to 0, and potentially go into halftime tied or within 1 to 2 points of the lead.
And if you're Bishop Moore, you got to look at this like, look, I'm head coach Matt Hedrick. I need my defense to get a stop because if they get a stop, they get the ball back, they get a chance to put more points on the board to make it a 2-score game.
Right, and for Bishop Moore, a 2-score game is what you want going into halftime. But for OCP, even keeping it what the score is right now would be kind of considered a win in the first half for the Warriors.
First down and 10 for OCP. They come out in the shotgun. Handoff off the right side. Gain of 3 on the play.
Around the right side.
And again, nice healthy run there for OCP on the start. Makes it about a second long, second and medium situation. And for OCP, you're not going to get all your yards on a drive in one play. You got to take it one play at a time. And like I said, it's not desperation mode. You're still within a score. Just play the game that got you to that early 6-0 lead, and that's the main part. Play your game.
Avery Johnson was the guy on that carry, ran behind the big 6'6", 300-pound Miami commit, 3-star Demetrius Campbell. 2nd down and 5 for OCP. Handoff to Johnson. It's Anderson again.
There's a pile on that
And a
side.
gain of 2 on the play.
On that run, number 2.
Had a helmet come off as well. I think that was number 56 of Jordan Lynch, the freshman for OCP. I think he's going to have to come off for at least one play. We'll see how they react to that on a 3rd and about 3.
So a timeout by Bishop Moore here on a crucial 3rd down. A chance for their defense to get a stop. We'll see what OCP can pull out the playbook here with 4:49 left to go here in the first half. Third and 3 for Orlando Christian Prep. On their own 18-yard line. Play fake. They pitch it. And good gain on the play. Getting to the second level, but then now gang tackle. Nice run from Avery Johnson. Close to a 1st down, and he's going to get it to move the chains and keep the drive alive with 4:39 left to go, Conrad.
And that's the main thing. Keep the drive alive and continue to move the ball, because this isn't 4-down territory by any means for these Warriors. And one of the things I've noticed throughout this game is when they do like a change-up play like that, where it almost was like an option, but they two-hand tossed it to their runner on the outside, it allows them to get more yards and have more breathing room.
1st down and 10 for OCP from their own 24. Handoff off the right side. And it's going to be stood up.
On that number
Akeem Anderson on the run.
That's a small pickup, probably half a yard.
And that's,
He was met by Jack Postararo.
That's the one thing that OCP just has not been able to figure out, is just running purely up the middle against this Bishop Moore defensive line. They've been able to run it at an angle, whether it's on the right or the left side, but purely straight up the middle, they have been stifled for most of this game.
So 3:32 left to go in the first half. 2nd down and 9 for the Warriors from their own 25. Counter reverse. It's got some space on the near side. And he's going to be taken out of bounds. Zeke Gunn on the carry for nothing. Flag is down on the play.
See if it's a legal block in the back or potentially a holding call there, but I believe it's going to go against the OCP offense.
Looks like it'll be holding against the Warriors.
Holding it is.
And anytime you see a guy get tackled in the backfield, or a running back have that much space to be able to move, it's one of two things. It's either a busted play on defense, or it's a holding call.
Yeah.
And right there was a holding call.
So Bishop Moore will decline the penalty, which brings up 3rd down and 9 for the Warriors.
It's a little interesting here. We saw them have an opportunity to decline a penalty earlier, and that forced that 3rd and about 23 earlier. This time they're deciding to decline it and try their chances here.
Toss play to the far side. Akeevan Anderson with the carry, and that brings up 4th down. So here's a chance for Bishop Moore to stop the clock. They got 2:56 to work with, and they get the ball to start the second half.
And that's a testament to Coach Matt Hedrick, trusting his defense. They got gashed a couple of times in that first quarter, which is why I think they decided to accept the penalty on that last drive. But he likes the way the defense has been playing and how the momentum has shifted more towards the Hornets team. So he decided to decline the penalty, and they only gained about 2.5, 3 yards on that play, so it brings up a 4th and 5. They didn't even need 20 yards to play with. They only needed about 4, and that huge testament to how this defense has adjusted to that running attack by OCP.
This is a huge spot for Bishop Moore. They stop the clock. You got 2:56 to work with before you go to halftime, and Bishop Moore gets the football back to start the second half. So this is an opportunity for Bishop Moore head coach Matt Hedrick to really blow this game open, considering that Orlando Christian Prep is not a team that typically throws the ball efficiently.
Well, and especially too, if you can get, like you said, get a score before half and then get another score out of half, that's almost like when you go to if you go to like Burger King and you get buy one get one for the Whopper.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I want my Whopper now and I want my free Whopper coming out of halftime. Well, first they got to get the first Whopper, and they'll worry about the next one later.
I used to love the 2 for $20 from Applebee's.
Oh, getting me hungry, Jared.
So OCP does flip the field with a nice punt. This ball will be dead near the 35-yard line for Bishop Moore, and that's where they'll take over on offense with 2:48 left to play here in the first half. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation. Back at Memorial Stadium, 2:48 left to go for Bishop Moore. A chance to put 7 more points on the board here before the end of the first half. First down and 10 for the Hornets at their own 35. Bjorn Jurgensen in the shotgun. Play fake to Amari Johnson. Looking downfield, has plenty of time. Looking middle, got a man across midfield. Kenyon Austin, another big-time catch for the Hornets.
Yeah, they've thrown it to Austin, and they've thrown it to Sullivan. Sullivan was wide the heck open on that last touchdown catch, and now that gives more opportunities there for Alston to be wide open. Now, if you're OCP, who do you cover now?
First down and 10 for Bishop Moore from the 42. They give it to Amari Johnson. He's got a lot of lanes, and he capitalizes, gets to the third level, taking down inside the 45, but not before a first down.
And this is the point where Bishop Moore has now entered what 2K calls takeover mode. Now you've already established the run. The run got stifled. You established the pass. The pass is doing its thing. Now the run is complementing it. What else can they do?
Hornets still playing with tempo. Takes advantage of man coverage on the outside. What a catch by Kenyon Austin.
Grown man catch with that defender draped on him there.
Oh, yeah. Leads the team in receptions. He's a 3-star. He's got about 19 offers from programs like Florida State, Penn State, and Duke.
I bet the Seminoles like what they see, a potential in a recruit there.
They could certainly use him. Quick throw, far sideline. That's to Jackson Anderson. Has a lane, looking end zone, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. Bishop Moore executing this drive, this 2-minute drill here, if you will, before halftime.
Yeah, Anderson's got 1 of the 10 total touchdowns this season receiving. He almost wanted it to be one of 2 receivers to have multiple touchdowns this season. Nearly had it.
Bishop Moore has this Orlando Christian Prep Warriors defense on their heels. First down and goal. Jurgensen gives it to Johnson up the middle. Walks in on his feet untouched. And Bishop Moore goes up. 2 scores. Well-executed drive right before halftime. 20-6 with the PAT pending.
Just an absolute clinic of a drive for Bishop Moore. They had it on the pass, had it on the run, had it on the fake out, And what a way for Johnson to finish that drive, as he was unable to finish the first drive on the first score earlier.
Nicholas Salas on the PAT, doinks it off the left field goal post. So it will remain a 20-6 ball game, but Bishop Moore, well-executed drive led by their three-star Virginia commit quarterback, Bjorn Jurgensen. Mr. Efficient should be his nickname. 20-6 ball game here with 1:29 left to play in the first half. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. Jared Oliver and Conrad Volsch on the call here. 20-6 ball game. Bishop Moore goes down the field on a well-executed drive to make it a two-score game, 20-6. And Orlando Christian Prep with 1:29 left to go, and it's no secret the Warriors don't typically throw the ball that efficiently. What do they do here with about 90 seconds left in this ball game, or the first half rather?
I think they've got plenty of time to try things. I mean, yeah, you're not a well-known passing team, but we saw what they could do should they execute a good pass. Had the one teardrop pass that was just missed on one of those earlier drives early in the second quarter. But I think if you're OCP, you've got one of two things. You can either run the ball and run out this clock and go to halftime, readjust, or try some things. You never know. I mean, this is the second straight week you've held your own against a very good football team, and nothing to hang your hat about. And also, number two, since Bishop Moore missed that PAT, now you don't have to worry about going for two later. That's all equalized now. So I think if you're OCP, maybe do a couple runs to try and open up this down and distance. And if nothing else, try a couple passes. If it doesn't work, just try and burn out this clock and go into halftime.
No Cameron Curzon, the backup quarterback, obviously, as he went out with an injury. So they'll go with Nick Flores, who isn't really their typical pocket passing quarterback in throwing situations, but he is out there on the field, and there's a timeout from Bishop Moore.
Yeah, typically you wouldn't see a coach call this unless he saw something in the that he didn't like, either in his defense or what the offense was going to show. So if you're OCP and you can force Bishop Moore to get uncomfortable here and burn some timeouts towards the end, or make them rethink what they were going to do, that's an advantage for you, because now you didn't have to burn that timeout. You can kind of reset and go, all right, guys, that play was great, but we might have to adjust this way. And you're starting from the 35-yard line.
Yeah.
You've only got, I shouldn't say only, but you've got 65 yards and 125. And you've also got, I believe, at least two timeouts on the field. So that's plenty of time to at least get you into the red zone.
Yeah, if they can find points here on this drive with 1:29 left to go, you go into halftime down just by one score opposed to two, and then Bishop Moore gets the ball again. Then they can potentially go up 3 scores. So let's see what they do here. Shotgun formation for OCP. They take a shot, and that is going to be underthrown. Zeke Gunn, the intended target there. Decent coverage from Mitty Bradford, the senior.
Yeah, and Gunn had a good
step.
Yeah, great step, but it looked like his quarterback was expecting maybe a cut towards the sideline to step out of bounds and preserve the clock. But whatever it was a decent setup. It just wasn't quite executed.
Second down and 10 for Orlando Christian Prep from their own 35. 3 receivers set for the Warriors. Avery Anderson, the running back in the backfield, on Flores' left hip. Anderson trying to block. Flores looking to scramble. It's going to be pushed out of bounds by Aiden Fallon. Brings up third down for the Warriors.
It's a weird spot here. I thought he got at least to the 40, but they're going to say, oh, that's because there's a penalty marker.
Oh,
Helps if I could see.
there's a flag on the play. So that'll back up the Warriors.
I think it was holding,
10 more.
Holding on that
Penalty is accepted.
And that's a tough deal for the Warriors because, as we saw, I mean, he made something out of nothing there in Flores. Got it down to a third and very manageable situation, and now it's second and back to about a mile long.
Yeah. Looks like another timeout is called by Bishop Moore. So the defense of the Hornets will try to figure out what type of personnel Orlando Christian Prep will put out there on 2nd down and 20. We'll take a quick break as well. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. Orlando Christian Prep facing a 2nd down and 20.
Yeah, not an ideal situation if you're the Warriors. I mean, like I said, not a lot of 2nd and 20 run plays. I would be very surprised if they not pass here.
Flores on the bubble. And that gets close to the original line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Riley Bedreau. And it looks like another Warriors player slow to get up. That's Thomas Young, but does get helped up by his teammates. He'll limp off the field.
That's another guy that OCP does not want to lose. Big part of their offense and defense, as they have less than 40 players on their entire roster. But what a way for OCP to get this to more of a manageable 3rd down at 3rd and 11 versus like 3rd and 16.
Nearing the 30-second mark here in the first half. And let's see if the Warriors decide to take a shot here down the field. 4 receivers set for the Warriors. Pressure off the left side. And that's going to be a sack.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Riley Bedreau.
from number 6, Riley Bedreau.
And that will take us most likely to the end of the first half. So Bishop Moore comes up clutch on defense with the sack, and that'll take us to the locker room. Bishop Moore up 20-6 after 2 quarters.
Your Bishop Moore Hornets 20. OCP Warriors 6.
So a big-time performance from the Hornets in the first half. They go down the field, put up 7 more points right before halftime, and they will receive the opening kickoff as well. And we will take things to halftime. We will leave the broadcast up so you can watch the Bishop Moore Hornets band. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation.
We have an event for you to pay attention to and bring that to you.
Jared Oliver alongside Conrad Volshin. The second half, almost minutes away here, or seconds away rather. The first half, unfortunately, we saw that tough injury from the backup quarterback for Orlando Christian Prep and Cameron Curzon. But the story of the first half was all about the Bishop Moore offense. What did you like from the Hornets in the first half?
I like how they dealt with how OCP adjusted on defense.
Yeah.
Because what we saw in the first couple drives is run, maybe a couple passes, run. Well, OCP got wise to it, and Bishop Moore just said, okay, you're going to get wise to that. We're going to throw it. And I like how they selected it, kind of threw it to a guy they don't normally throw to very much for that one touchdown. And very well-balanced offense, kind of really set the tone with that establishing dominance. And they're not just a run-first team in this game. Now you have to not only defend for a pass-first or even a run-first here.
So Bishop Moore does get the opening kickoff to start the second half. Devin St. Clair on the return tries to bounce it out near side and reverses field, still on his feet, and what a tough guy to bring down. The UMass commit is going to be stood up at his own 35, and that is where the offense for Bishop Moore comes back on the field. And we talked about it in the first half. Bishop Moore goes down the field, scores a touchdown with about 90 seconds left in the first half, and Orlando Christian Prep is in a tough spot here. They're already down 20-6. Bishop Moore now has a chance to open up this game even more.
Yes, obviously, and I think if you're Bishop Moore, that's what you want to do. You want to get that third score on the board and just start putting this game away, because you do not want to give any ounce of hope back to OCP, because if you're OCP, the task is simple. Get a 3-and-out and try and get your offense established. But if you're Bishop Moore, it's step on that open wound and continue to drive, eat the clock, and get that third score.
First down and 10 for Bishop Moore from their own 37. Play fake, has a man on the slant. That's Talma. That'll be a first down as he gets to the 40-yard line for the Hornets.
And now, I mean, Jurgensen he's got that confidence back that was lost last week against St. Thomas Aquinas. He's finding the open man. He's not panicking, and his receivers are getting open at the last possible second at the right time.
Longest catch of the year for Talma, excuse me.
That's an 18-yard gain.
Flag is down on the play.
They're going to say offsides on the defense. So free 5 yards for the Hornets on this drive. So they'll take that any day of the week.
Moves the ball to the 40-yard line for Bishop Moore.
Now on the 40.
Pistol formation for Bishop Moore. Handoff up the middle to Amari Johnson. Breaking tackles, almost takes the official with him as he crosses the 30, gain of 14 on the play.
Well, now that the pass has been established, led by Jurgensen, now that brings back the run game that we saw established on that first drive with Amari Johnson.
Pistol formation, Johnson the pistol back. Play fake. Jurgensen taking a shot to the end zone. Back pylon. That is caught. Touchdown, Hornets. What a throw from the 3-star.
That reception leads to a Bishop Moore touchdown. Ladies and gentlemen,
Magnus Talma. Second touchdown of the season for 16. And what a big one there to open up this football game, Conrad.
I mean, now we started this game with only 2 guys on this Bishop Moore roster with any sort of touchdowns. Now we've got 4.
Yeah.
They threw it to Mr. 28 of Sullivan, and now Mr. Talma's joined the party. So now you're not just going to your normal guy of Alston, you're spreading it around, and now on defense, like I keep saying, who are they going to cover?
Yeah. What a drive from Bishop Moore, opening this game up 27-6, just with 10:43 left to go in the third quarter. What a start for the Hornets in the second half. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. The Bishop Moore Hornets go down the field on their opening drive to start the second half. And they're up 27-6. OCP in a tough spot. Avery Anderson looking for some sort of lane, and he's going backwards. It's going to be pushed out of bounds near his own 20-yard line. How about that drive from Bishop Moore led by Bjorn Jurgensen? 11th touchdown pass of the season. This guy is efficient as any quarterback in the state of Florida, and we've seen that on display tonight. 125.8 QBR coming into this game, Conrad.
Well, and what a way to bounce back from last week. You know, didn't have his typical 250 to 275 day through the air against St. Thomas Aquinas, was actually under 170.
Yeah.
But to come back and just have a game, and it didn't start there. It started with the run. It started in the trenches. It's been a great team effort on all sides of this offense, and because they're ready for Alston to try and get the pass, it's opening up for guys like Talma and Sullivan. Who else might catch the rock tonight?
Bjorn Jurgensen came into this game with a 68% completion percentage. Now let's see what Orlando Christian Prep can do here on their own 20-yard line. Warriors come out in the shotgun. Flores rolling right, near side throw, nobody home. Closest guy to it was number 4, Akeevan Anderson.
I think that's so tough if you're OCP, because now you're turning into a situation, you're down by 3 scores. And that desperation that I was talking about when they were down 14-6, well, now it's desperation now, because your bread and butter is running.
Yeah.
And Bishop Moore not only has a comfortable lead, but they've been able to withstand the run that you've thrown at them. And now it's like, okay, now what do we do? Because we don't pass too often, and now we got to do things we're not used to.
Second down and 10 for the Warriors. 4 receivers set. Nicholas Flores in the shotgun, looking to throw, has pressure in his face, dumps it off to his running back, Thomas Young. Gain of 4 on the play. And they're facing a third down now.
Wasn't the most gained play, but what a way for quarterback for OCP to get that off, because Dino Bruscato was ready to sack the Warrior quarterback there, and had he not gotten rid of that, that would have been brought up probably third and about 14.
This front seven for Bishop Moore has had a really good night tonight. You know, we talked about it in the pregame, having eye discipline against OCP. Now they're in throw mode, so you can't run the triple option with the veer offense, but this front seven for Bishop Moore has been solid tonight. Second down, let's check that, third down and 8. Penalty on the play, blows the play dead. Looks like we had early motion at the line of scrimmage.
They're going to call offensive offsides.
Okay.
If you're a Chiefs fan, look away. Oops, did I say that out loud? But no, to be more serious about that, I mean, I don't think I've seen offensive offsides called as much as it started to last season.
Yeah.
And with that being said, there must have been somebody on that offensive area, whether it was a receiver or somebody on that line that had their foot past the line, and it forced the refs to throw their laundry on the field.
So it's third down and complicated, 13 yards to a first down for the Warriors. 3 receivers set for Nick Flores. They hand it off, delay handoff, and nice gain on the play. Gets close to the stick, still churning. Avery Anderson comes up just shy of that first down. So let's see what OCP does here on fourth down.
I think that's enough for a first there. Wow.
So favorable spot. Moves the chains. A delay handoff on third and long, and they get it.
And now they're going hurry up here. Smart decision if you're OCP.
Some tempo from the Warriors. Another handoff up the middle. And that'll be for 6 yards. And a late flag comes out. Maybe unnecessary roughness here on Bishop Moore.
Yeah, I'm not sure who got it, but I saw Riley Boudreau was doing everything he could to try and rip that football out, and got a little extracurriculars there at the end of the play, so we'll see what the white hat calls here for the call.
So it is a personal foul on Bishop Moore. That'll be 15 yards plus a first down for OCP.
Well, this is one of the things you don't want to do if you're Bishop Moore. Yes, you had OCP dead to right on there, and they burnt you with a run. Sometimes that will happen. That's what they are known for as their bread and butter play. But now, again, you're up by 3 scores. You're in control of the game. Take a breath, relax, play your game, because you don't want to give OCP hope and push the ball down the field and start feeling that vibe again.
First down and 10 for OCP at midfield. Handoff up the middle, maybe a gain of 1 by Avery Anderson. Anderson a little slow to get up, but does get up. Looks like he's going to be okay.
And again, we're seeing this play out once again. OCP has not been able to establish the run straight up the middle.
No.
They have to either sweep it to the right, sweep it to the left, or have some sort of delayed handoff like you just said, or something that's not the normal just straight up the middle drive. And credit to Bishop Moore for completely stealing that away from their playbook tonight.
OCP still in the shotgun formation, 27-6 with 8:06 left to play here in the third. Quick throw underneath far sideline to Thomas Young. And that'll be a gain of 7 on the play from the Air Force commit.
Picks up about 4.
And, I mean, that's what you got to start doing is whether you throw a screen. I mean, try the screen.
Yeah.
You know, if you can't throw it deep down the field, try the screen on the outside because if nothing else, it'll get you at least 3 to 4 yards and allow you to have more of an open playbook because now that it's 3rd and 6, that's way more manageable than a 3rd and 9 situation.
Flores on the handoff to Anderson. And he's going to be met by a gang of black jerseys. That brings up 4th down for OCP.
And again, they tried cutting it back up into the middle, and it just has not been able to work for this Warrior offense. And instead of, like I said, a potential 2 to 3, maybe 4-yard gain, make it about a 4th and 2, 4th and 1, you've got 4th and 5 in your face. And it's 4-down territory. There's no, we'll punt the ball, try again. The way this Hornet offense is really functioning and is very well oiled right now, you cannot afford to just punt the ball away.
Bishop Moore has some reserves in there at linebacker. Number 59, Devaney Drew, and number 39. Excuse me, 36. We don't have a name for number 36. There's a flag down on the play. Movement up front early. And it'll be a timeout by the Warriors. So there was no flag on the play. It looks like it's just a timeout from OCP. So we'll take a timeout as Bishop Moore trying to drive down the field with 6:29 left to go here in the third.
Your generosity goes 100% to the dead.
Back at Memorial Stadium, Jared Oliver, Conrad Volch on the call. Orlando Christian Prep down 27-6 here with 6:29 to go left in the third quarter. And OCP trying to convert a 4th down here from the 45-yard line. Flores looking play action, heavy pressure, just throws it up, and that's intercepted. The Hornets defense forces a turnover. And they'll have the ball near midfield. And Devin St. Clair on the field looks like he's cramping up.
It was number 36 that got the interception there, but
yeah, we don't have a jersey. We don't have a name for number 36, but good play from him.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing we were kind of waiting for on that defense is they've been dropping back and really taking away all the receiving lanes for this OCP offense. It was almost a kind of a matter of time before we might see a interception.
Mm-hmm.
So what a big credit there to the defense, and they were able to run it back farther than where they picked it off at. So, I mean, positive yardage on the return, and now you've got time on your side. Now you can just continue to burn this third quarter.
And a huge storyline coming into this game was Bishop Moore's defense forcing Orlando Christian Prep in 3rd and long or 4th and 5 for that case that we just saw on that interception. So give credit to head coach Matt Hedrick for this Bishop Moore team bouncing back against a tough loss against St. Thomas Aquinas. It's been an all-around game for this team so far in this the first half, and as we are 6:20 left here in the third as well.
Well, it's like we talked about in the pregame, Jared. And I've said this, I will continue to say it till I am not on this earth anymore. You have to erase a bad game.
Yeah.
And so far, Bishop Moore took that St. Thomas Aquinas game, which there was some positive things that we saw from that game.
Yeah.
They moved the ball well against a very good football team, but there also was some not great things that Coach alluded to, the back-to-back turnovers on back-to-back plays. Can't do that. But they've taken care of the ball. They've run the ball well. And that really helps to take pressure off Jurgensen because you don't have to have him throw 30, 40, 50 times a game. You can have your running backs just say, hey, give us the rock, we'll give you a break. And, now that they don't have to throw to their main man, you can open it up all over the field, and it's a playground.
So Devin St. Clair comes off the field. Looks like he was battling some cramps. Looks to be okay. Play fake from Bjorn Jurgensen. He's going to keep it on the option read. Gets across the 30, down the sideline, and pushed out of bounds inside the 5. What a play made there by Jurgensen.
Bjorn Jurgensen.
He's done it with his arm all night. That time you saw what he can do on the ground.
Yeah, that was, I think he released his Old Town Road there because he had his horse in the back, and he was ready to go there, and what a run from the quarterback.
Bishop Moore trying to put 6 more on the scoreboard. Amari Johnson, the running back in the backfield. They give it to him up the middle, dances his way inside the 1, and that'll be a touchdown for the Hornets. Bishop Moore in full control now in the third quarter.
I mean, Johnson came in with 4 rushing touchdowns, has 2 tonight, scored a third of his rushing touchdowns tonight. I mean, this offense, whatever questions they had about who are we, they've taken back their mojo today.
Nicholas Salas on for the point after. The kick is good, so that'll make it 34-6. Bishop Moore running away with this one here at home. What a great bounce-back game here for Bishop Moore at Memorial Stadium. Back at Memorial Stadium, Jared Oliver with Conrad Volsch on the call. 5:41 left to go in the third quarter. Bishop Moore up 34-6, and what a response from last week considering that lopsided loss versus St. Thomas Aquinas. Bjorn Jurgensen was efficient last week. Didn't have stellar numbers, but 19 of 23, 169 and a touchdown through the air and on the ground against the Raiders. But tonight he's been stellar, just Mr. Efficient tonight.
Well, yeah, and that shows why he's a commit to the University of Virginia, because when you have a bad game, or not even a bad game, but just not the greatest of games, it goes down to how are you going to respond, not only as a player, but as a senior leader as he is. And, you know, I don't know what those locker room talks were this entire week, but I'm sure that it wasn't we're not going to lay down this week. We're going to come out and play our style of football. And, in the name, their school name is Bishop Moore. Well, I guarantee you they went to the bishop and said, we want more offense this week, and we're going to go do that.
Ah, yes. Tonight, the battle of the religions. Orlando Christian Prep, Bishop Moore Catholic. It's been all Hornets tonight, though, so far. 34-6 with 5:34 left to play. Most of the starters still in for Orlando Christian Prep. You see some reserves out there on defense for the Hornets. And handoff off the right side. Avery Johnson, another carry. Gain of about 7 on the play.
And again, more success here from this Orlando Christian Prep side when they do the sweep to the right. Whenever they do that sweep move for the run play, they've had success all night. And I think for them, this is just a situation. Try some things, experiment. Do what got you in that position because, again, it's 34-6 is not an ideal score, but if you can find some things to either get you ready for next week or at least cut this a little bit closer, it looks good on tape.
We were down on the field before the game. We talked to Orlando Christian Prep head coach Gershom Demosthenes, and, he told us that he felt like his team was ready to play in this game, considering the loss they had against the First Academy last Friday. But he's a great coach. This is his 12th season. They're 2-3 on the year, but they were 10-2 a season ago. They're young. They have 6 returners on offense, 6 returners on defense. But, this program certainly has great foundation and leadership. But, sometimes it's just not your night, and sometimes you just the matchup just doesn't favor you, and I think we're seeing that tonight.
Well, especially, too, the thing that I respected the most about what he said is he said, quote, just play.
Yeah.
And I think no matter who you see on the other side of the field, whether it's the number 6 team in Florida in TFA or Bishop Moore or whoever the heck you're playing, just play.
Yeah.
Because you never know what will happen, and if it's a challenge, face it.
2nd down and 8 for Orlando Christian Prep. Nicholas Flores is going to be tackled. About a 1-yard gain on the play. That'll bring up 3rd down and 7 for the Warriors. And at this point of the ball game, as we mentioned all night, Warriors just not a team that loves to throw the ball, or they don't do it as effectively as Bishop Moore. So at this point of the game, you're just trying to see if you can get any chunk plays or maybe some broken down coverage in the secondary.
Well, and that's a tough situation. If you've got something that is successful and that you're good at, but it's very one-sided, if you will, if a team figures it out, it kind of stinks because you don't have a backup plan. But at this point, try some things, maybe see if passing lanes work, and you never know what might happen.
Avery Johnson with another carry, gets close to the sticks for a 1st down. As they get near the 40-yard line, looks like it will be 4th and short. Looks like 4th and half an inch or half a yard.
So we'll see what the defensive line will do here for the Bishop Moore Hornets, as I'm guessing it's going to be probably like a QB sneak or I'd say a sweep to the left here.
So back to their wishbone formation. Oh, ball on the ground. Flores picks it up, but he will not get the 4th down conversion. So that'll be, looks like a stop. I think that's a turnover on downs for Bishop Moore. The offense getting set to come back on the field. Yeah.
Well,
Let's see where they spot it.
I see one ref pointing as if it's a
So they are having a conversation, and they do say 1st down.
Wow.
Orlando Christian Prep. Favorable spot for the Warriors.
That's just a good old-fashioned forward progress there. But I got to give credit to where credit's due. The fact that OCP stayed focused, because that was a busted play from the start with the mishandle of the snap, to just have the wherewithal to pick the ball up and just say, hey, I got my cow catcher on the front of my steam engine. Let's just try to push this thing forward. And it ended up working. 1st down.
Oh, disaster of a play here. Flores jumps on it after the snap goes over his head. And so after a good play on 4th down, they followed up with a snap that goes over the quarterback's head.
And this is something, if you're OCP, you do not want to see. They've seen that at least 4 times tonight with 2nd And this is going to be second and about 22.
Yeah.
So not the ideal situation for the Warriors.
Two minutes left to go in the third quarter. They're behind the sticks. This is what OCP didn't want to have happen in this game, is get into situations where it's second down and long. We'll see what they do here. Flores with plenty of time, trying to make something happen. Flag is out on the play, but he's going to be dragged down for a sack in the backfield.
I think they're going to get OCP with a hold there, and more than likely going to decline it here.
Jabali Mario on the sack.
Standing at just 5'10" on that defensive line.
Yeah.
What a way to push through that great wall of Dallas on that right side of the offensive line.
Yeah, great opportunity here for Bishop Moore to get some young guys in to get some varsity reps for sure. So the penalty is declined. Brings up third down for OCP. So it's third down and 30 for the Warriors. What play call do you have in the playbook for third down and 30, Conrad?
I mean, nobody has too many run plays for second and 20. I don't think anybody has too many plays, period, for third and 30. I think it's just you kind of turn yourself into maybe a quote-unquote Hail Mary situation. Just have 4 receivers, 2 on each side, run down the field and hope something crazy happens.
They draw the screen play, and that's going to be Avery Anderson. He'll get what he can get. Crosses the 30 and going to be taken out of bounds near his own 35-yard line. So that'll make it fourth and 15 for OCP.
And, I mean, if nothing else, a good chunk play. And you were talking about that earlier, Jared, is just get some chunk plays. Get something because, again, a 4th and 15 isn't great, but it's a little bit easier to try and at least sniff a first down versus a 4th and 20.
Yeah. So got about 20 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Looks like both teams will let the clock run down to triple zeros. So we're through 3. Bishop Moore in full control, 34-6. You're watching Varsity Sports Nation. (34-6) is your score. Bishop Moore in full control here in the fourth quarter to start the fourth quarter. And OCP just not having a great night offensively. Bishop Moore has done exactly what they've wanted to do on both sides of the ball. Bounced attack on offense. They've come up with good stops on defense. And they're looking for another stop here on 4th and 13. Orlando Christian Prep's quarterback Flores rolls right, throws that one into the dirt. And that will be a turnover on downs. Bishop Moore takes over.
Yeah, that was a great defensive stand there by the Hornets. And I think that was Ron Schroeder. That was
number 88,
over there on the defensive side. So great job kind of forcing that errant throw that ended up in the dirt. And I think if you're Bishop Moore, you've had a great all-around game. And to think that OCP led this game at one point, and that's the second straight game that OCP has started with a lead against 2 very quality opponents, and it's just unfortunately, when TFA and when now Bishop Moore has found their footing, it's just been hard for them to stop.
Starter still out on the field for the offense of Bishop Moore. Bjorn Jurgensen looking to throw, has plenty of time, takes a shot to the end zone, and just off the fingertips of Jackson Anderson. Had a wide open touchdown with 6 in the pocket for Anderson, but can't make the catch.
And I think, I love the decision to keep the starters out there because, finish the game, or at least continue to push and not let up at all. Now, granted, you don't want to go too crazy with running up a score, but at least keep that mojo going and carry that in to the later stages of this fourth quarter.
2nd and 10.
Jurgensen in the shotgun, 3 receivers set. They hand it off to Malachi Smith. Tries to make a man miss, but it's going to be wrapped up near the line of scrimmage. Looks like it will be about a loss of 1 on the play, so that'll bring up 3rd down for Bishop Moore.
And they're going to bring back in their reliable running back there, Amari Johnson, who's had a beautiful night, couple rushing touchdowns, and just an absolute tone setter on that first drive in that first quarter. And for the Hornets, you just want to continue to burn some clock here in this fourth quarter.
3rd down and 11 for Bishop Moore. From the 43, Jurgensen sprints left. Takes a shot downfield, looking for Schroeder, and that is out of bounds.
Incomplete.
Jaden Bolton on the coverage for Orlando Christian Prep.
Brings up 4th and 10.
And looks like, I'm not sure if they're going to call the punt team or...
Offense is slow to come off the field here.
Yeah.
Matt Hedrick is having a conversation about it. Maybe you take a shot and just write it off as a punt if it's an interception.
Yeah, because you've got the ball at the Warrior 37-yard line.
Yeah.
So punting it would maybe try and trap them at the 5, but it's still, I feel like it's right on that cusp to try something, and if you don't get it, well, it's like a punt anyway.
We talked about efficiency all night with Bjorn Jurgensen. Only 1 interception on the season, so I'm sure he doesn't want to throw one. And he'll just dump it off to Malachi Smith on the near sideline. So that'll be a turnover on downs. Orlando Christian Prep will take over. So interesting play call there instead of punting it.
Ball goes over to the Warriors.
Warriors take over.
Yeah, I think it was just a matter of, hey, we're in a position to where if we don't get it, it doesn't hurt us too much. Let's just see where the chips fall where the chips fall. Like they say in the game of poker, don't gamble, guys. Be responsible. But now you're in a situation for OCP. Back on offense, you had some success a little bit on that last drive. Maybe try some. Again, they have the most success when they do that sweep right or the sweep left.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's kind of an anomaly of a situation, but maybe go back to that. Try to get some confidence back in your running game.
Bishop Moore is a solid program. They most likely will get a win tonight to go to 5-1. They're still 1-0 in district play, and on October 18th, they'll have a district matchup against Tavares, and they'll play Eustis next week. So this is a good stretch for Bishop Moore to get some quality wins.
Tackle by number 25.
Matt Hedrick, the head coach for Bishop Moore in his 23rd season. Talked to him in the pregame, and he said his team's energy, the vibe was still good in the locker room despite that lopsided loss against St. Thomas Aquinas. And, when you play a team like St. Thomas Aquinas, if you're a football player for Bishop Moore, you want to put on your best performance, and games like that can sort of hurt your confidence or have you down. But big picture is Matt Hedrick says, we're 4-1. It was 1 loss. We have a long season ahead of them, and they have playoff aspirations for sure.
Yeah, one loss like that to a very good team is not going to define who they are.
Handoff to Avery Anderson. That'll be a 1st down, gain of 14 on the play.
And again, this is one of their big successful things about their run game is being able to sweep it to the side and then try and cut it back towards the middle 4 or 5 yards down the field, because they haven't had success purely power running it up the middle. It's been that sweep. So I don't know if it's one of those, I sweep it to the right and then I sweep it to the left. I don't know why, but it works to perfection for them.
Flores throws far side underneath, but that is dropped by Zeke Gunn. Flat out dropped.
And that's a play he'd like to have back. He knew, you saw how he reacted afterwards. He's like, man, I had that in my hands. I was going to turn upfield, but that's just a simple, and you see it in the NFL more than you'd like to admit, running before you caught it.
It's been a long time since Bishop Moore has won a state championship. The last time was back in 2015. It was the program's second all-time state championship. They won that over at Camping World Stadium. And Bishop Moore's first state championship win was way back in 1970.
Jeez.
So I'm sure Bishop Moore will want to get back to that championship stage at some point. They've got a quality team this season. We'll see how far they go throughout the season. Flores with plenty of time and trying to get some blocks, stays in bounds, and he'll be wrapped up around the 40-yard line. Does stay in bounds, and the clock will continue to roll.
The tackle completed by Griff Salmon.
Well, it's crazy. You bring up the 2 state championships that they've won. The concept of time is crazy, especially as you get older. I feel like for me, time started speeding up when I turned 14. I'm 27 now. So it's been getting faster and faster and faster. 2015 was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay? I remember when 2015 was yesterday. And 1970 was 54 years ago. Okay? That's even weirder because I remember when 1990 was like 10 years ago.
Time flies. So does that ball, but it flies out of bounds, and that'll be incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down for the Warriors. So OCP is trying to do what they can through the air. Not much success. They only average 30 yards per game through the air. They average 160 on the ground. So this is the formula for OCP. No defining air attack, and we've seen that tonight. But still a good program, great history, just not OCP's night.
No, and I think it's just been kind of the story of the season. You know, they got a couple of wins under their belt, but it's just kind of finding your identity. And when you're a young team full of freshmen and sophomores, after you've had a big class that just graduated, it takes a minute to find it. But once you do, that's when they start becoming dangerous again.
Orlando Christian Prep won the SSAC State Championship back in 2018 and 2020. And head coach Gershom Demosthenes, he's 8 wins away from 100 wins as a head coach, but he won't get one of those tonight as he's down big 34-6 against Bishop Moore.
And what a testament to him as a head coach. I mean, 2 state championships under his belt for this program. This is probably something he's seen before. I mean, you got to think, I think 3 to 5 years, you completely have a roster rebuild, especially at the high school level. And to have a team with as few players as they do, being able to compete as well as they've done over their history is impressive to see.
And that throw is to the flat on the far side, too far in front of his intended receiver. Dominic Elder was the closest man to it. That flies out of bounds, brings up 2nd down and 10. More from Gershom Demosthenes. He was a defensive coordinator at Cypress Creek before taking the job here at OCP back in 2013. We talked to him on the field before the game started, and you can tell he's an intense guy, and he demands a lot from his team. He's not intimidated from whoever they play, and he hopes his team resembles that as well. It's been a tough night offensively and defensively for the Warriors tonight. So give all the credit to Bishop Moore for sure.
And I love his passion too. I mean, you asked him about what they learned from TFA last week, and it was like he had some fire that went off in his eyes. It was like, yeah, the score doesn't define it. We liked what we saw, and we just played hard. Yeah. And I think when you have a coach with that much passion, no matter what the situation is, you feed off of that, and you're more likely to do whatever you can for your coach in any situation.
Nicholas Flores keeps it there. And he was slow to get up. There is a flag down on the play. And it'll be holding against Orlando Christian Prep. So wipes away that good run from Flores.
That's been the theme for the Warriors for after that first drive, as they've just gotten plagued by penalties. We saw the advantage that they took in that first drive. I thought that was going to be the defining factor of the game, was that offsides that benefited OCP to get that first down, and then they just took off and ran with it, to quote the famous cliche. But ever since then, I mean, it's just been a collage of holding penalties. It's, you know, it's like, hey, I know love can be in the air and you want to hug your friend, but can't do that because that's a 10-yard penalty.
So that 10-yard penalty will make it 2nd down and 16 for the Warriors from the 38-yard line. Avery Johnson, the running back. Avery Anderson, the running back in the backfield. Flores looks to take a shot down the end zone. He's got a man, can't make the catch inside the 5-yard line.
All the way down to the 1-yard line.
Another unexecuted play there. Zeke Gunn, the intended receiver.
And it was a perfect throw. That's about the second one today we've seen where it was on target, dropping into the breadbasket, and just could not be caught. And I think, you know, we talk about Orlando Christian Prep. You brought up earlier, they average about 30 to 50 yards per game passing.
Yep.
They've got something there in the passing game. It just hasn't been executed tonight. And it's such a hype booster for your sideline if you get a deep pass like that, but they just have not been able to connect.
3rd down and complicated for Orlando Christian Prep. Flores with pressure in his face, dumps it off on the screen to Anderson and gets across the 25-yard line.
On that tackle.
And that is short of the first down marker.
Brings down the runner.
That will be 4th down for the Warriors. Looks like about 4th and 3.
Well, that's one of the risks you take when you bring the house for Bishop Moore. There was 3 guys in the face of Nicholas Flores, and because you don't have your D-line sitting to wait for that running back / receiver who gets the ball, then he's got plenty of area to carve up, and that puts him in a 4th and very manageable situation where you only need about 2 to 3 yards, which is about, 6 to 9 feet, and which is about my height if I lay down. So I think, and again, like I said, you take the risk when you bring the house because you want to get after that quarterback and make him throw it away or get a huge sack. But now if you're Orlando Christian Prep, you've got something to play with. What are you going to do to try and either extend this drive or just risk it for the biscuit and try and throw a touchdown?
Well, they're in a good spot. If they can convert it in this 4th down, it's a good spot for them to try to put a touchdown on the board to get some good film.
For sure.
Most of the starters still out there for OCP. Let's see what they draw up here on 4th down and 3. Nicholas Flores in the shotgun. They hand it off to Avery Anderson, and that looks to be short of the first down. So it's going to be a turnover on down. So once again, the Bishop Moore defense with reserves in there makes a huge stop, and the Hornets take over on offense.
Well, that's a testament to the Hornets because we've seen Orlando Christian Prep have a lot of success with that sweep to the right. That's really, honestly, that's the first time tonight we've seen a running back for the Warriors get swallowed up on a sweep.
Yeah. So it looks like
Ladies and gentlemen,
some reserves will be coming in on offense here for Bishop Moore. And we'll take a quick commercial break here. Bishop Moore up 34-6. Back at Memorial Stadium, Bishop Moore with the football following the turnover on downs. The Hornets with reserves in there. Handoff up the middle, and they're still getting good penetration up the middle. And that's a carry by Bishop Moore. Looks like a gain of about 6 on the play. Don't have a name for number 44. Oh, check that. Donovan Ferrafino.
On that run up the middle, number 44.
Backup quarterback Blake McCullough is in there.
And that's great for Ferrafino. That's his first rush of the season. And it's a first down. 1 for 1.
Well, Bjorn Jurgensen's night is done. Backup quarterback Blake McCullough in there. And there's more movement up front. Looks like that may be Orlando Christian Prep. So after a game like this for Bishop Moore, you go into next week. You got to get ready for Eustis, which is a great matchup. Eustis is a good football team. But this is a great bounce-back team. We talked to head coach Matt Hedrick before the game. He said there's no confidence lacking. As a football player, if you're Bishop Moore, what do you take away from this game?
Well, I think this is a quality response to what St. Thomas Aquinas gave you last week, and you opened up your offense. You put your foot on the gas. You never let up, and you adjusted to what Orlando Christian Prep gave you. And make no mistake, Orlando Christian Prep led this game 6-0. They had something brewing, but once Bishop Moore established the run and kind of just sat on it and said, "Hey, if Jorgensen isn't going to throw it, we're just going to run it with our horses." And once they got the run and the pass established, it was over.
Colin Knifick was on that last carry. This time they give it to Malachi Smith on the jet sweep, and he's going to get the first down crossing the 45-yard line. Yeah, I agree with what you said. This is a sort of get the energy right back in the locker room type of win for sure.
Well, especially, too, when you're in a situation where, I'm going to call it how it is. I mean, your mojo was tested last week.
Yeah.
How are you going to get it back? Because, like I said, you're going to respond one of two ways. You're either going to come out, you're going to play your version of football, or you're going to continue to harp on what happened last week.
5 minutes to go in the first quarter. First down and 10 for Bishop Moore. Handoff up the middle. Colin Knifick on the carry, picks up 5.
Colin Knifick on the carry, picks up 4.
The starter's still out there for Orlando Christian Prep. No surprise. I'm sure you got a locker room full of guys who want to play with pride and they still want to compete. So, and throw to the far side. That's going to be caught by Ron Schroeder. Third catch of the season for him. He plays both ways. Had a pick 6 a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and this is absolute fun if you're Bishop Moore. Get yourself a chance to get some reps out there for guys that don't normally touch the field. I mean, I know who you could touch the field once this entire game, and you're excited talking to your friends, and your family's ready to celebrate you once you come off the field tonight.
No doubt. The vibes inside of Memorial Stadium are much better than last week's. That'll be good for a first down. Nice carry there. Gets close to the 40-yard line, and that's number 44 again. Donovan Ferrafino.
Only standing at 5'4".
Oh, yeah.
But 150 pounds. This man runs like he's 185.
Yeah, what a unit.
Absolutely. That's not a full fridge. It's 2 mini fridges packed into those quads. Yeah. I mean, he is running hard.
Throw underneath. Malachi Smith gets it. Tries to break free and still on his feet inside the 35. And they tried to get that football out. Looks like he did get it back if it came loose just a bit. That'll be second down and 9 for Bishop Moore.
It's positive to see when your backups are in and they're continuing to have success, because if you get into a situation where it's next man up, you need some guys that you can trust to go in there at a moment's notice, and this is what you want to see if you are Coach Hedrick from your backups.
Yeah, good play there by Malachi Smith, the freshman. Is going to have a special career here at Bishop Moore. Quarterback keeper on the far side. He'll pick up the first down. Good run by Blake McCullough.
And another thing I think is so positive about this Bishop Moore team is they're not letting up.
Yeah.
And I think that's another emphasis from last week is St. Thomas Aquinas. Yeah, they scored one touchdown in the second half.
Yeah.
But they, up until that point, they did not take their foot off the gas. And I think for Bishop Moore, that's an important thing to kind of get that established and kind of get back into good habits of, hey, it doesn't matter what the scoreboard is or who we're playing, have to be quick on the ball.
Handoff off the left side, and that'll be a touchdown for Bishop Moore. Adding to the pain for Orlando Christian Prep. Everything's been working tonight for the Hornets. Efficient through the air, efficient on the ground, and even the reserves showing what kind of program they have here at Bishop Moore.
How about this? No rushes, no rush attempts, no touchdowns for Donovan Ferrafino.
Yeah.
That was his drive.
Yeah, it was.
He got most of the yardage, and he got a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, we just heard the PA announcer say, buy one, get one at the concession stand for pizza. Go get yourself some pizza, young man.
Yeah, there you go. Outstanding performance here for Bishop Moore here at home. 129 left to go. We have a running clock now in the football game, 41-6. But back to what you were talking about with Bishop Moore versus St. Thomas Aquinas. We talked to head coach Matt Hedrick on the field, and he said, we didn't play bad. We played well, but the 2 turnovers that they had really cost them the game because St. Thomas Aquinas capitalized 14 unanswered points, and then once they got behind, the confidence kind of went away, and then when you're trying to fight an uphill battle against a team like St. Thomas Aquinas, your chances of coming back are pretty low. But he said that he liked the way his team played, and they didn't really give themselves a chance to win because of those 2 turnovers. But you got to love what you see here if you're Matt Hedrick tonight.
Well, I think last week it doesn't help when you have a situation where your runner's doing a great thing, and then the ball just literally just gets punch hammered out of his arm.
Yeah.
And normally when you see that, it just trickles out of bounds. It took a weird spin and came back in and allowed St. Thomas Aquinas to take over, and having that happen back-to-back drives just snuffed out whatever hope they had.
We got 20 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter. It is a running clock. We'll see if we get one more play in. Nicholas Salas is set to boot it away. We'll see if he does. And he will kick it away. And play is stopped.
And I think that's the end of the game.
Is that going to be the end of the game? So that is 000 on the clock. So the Bishop Moore Hornets stings Orlando Christian Prep. Bishop Moore wins 41-6. What a bounce back for the Hornets here at home. Orlando Christian Prep falls to 2-4. Bishop Moore goes to 5-1. And what a great game. Great crowd here on deck here at Memorial Stadium. For Conrad Foch, Ontavious McCullough, I'm Jared Oliver. For the rest of the crew here at Varsity Sports Nation, thanks for watching and have a great night.